Mr. Colluder, are you there? Are you live? I believe we are live coming from the fields.
We are indeed live. I am indeed live from the Carroll Stadium press box with John Cluter, along with Josh Mason down on the field. Following up with tonight's Indy 11 postgame show, brought to you by Honda, Central Indiana Honda dealers. Coming on the heels of tonight's, we could say clearly disappointing 2-1 defeat here at the mic to Memphis 901 FC. A quick recap of the proceedings as we await to hear from Indy 11 head coach Martin Reddy. He has to stop by the TV booth first after his team talk. So we got a little time to kill, Josh. Let's talk over this one real quick. It got off to a dream start for the visitors. A little over 2 minutes in when they were able to unlock the defense. You have to admit, inch perfect through ball from Laurent Kissiadou found the feet of Michael Salazar, put a good touch into space to beat a defender, and was able to fire past Jordan Farr inside the left post from about 15 yards out to give Memphis a shock 1-0 lead before either team could really catch their breath. The big talking point of the match for Indy 11 fans is going to be the goal that was not. Almost 17 minutes in when Venezuelan striker Manuel Arteaga hit an absolute rocket from 25 yards out. Did well to beat John Berner right over the Memphis 901 keeper's dome and hat, and it hit the underside of the crossbar and inside the goal line. Unfortunately, referee's assistant on the near side was about 20 yards away from goal, even with the back line, did not see the rubber pellets hitting up with the contact of the ball behind the goal line. Ball spun out vigorously. No goal given. Very much hard done. Yes, Indy 11 fans, there is a process to report such plays to the USL Championship. I doubt that will be needed, however, as I'm guessing many folks at USL headquarters were tagged on various tweets and social media with screenshots and replays that clearly showed the ball past the line. But there is no VAR or goal line technology in the USL Championship. Human error is part of it, folks. So the score stayed 1-0 good to Memphis until past the half-hour mark when Memphis took advantage of a defensive miscue, a couple defensive miscues. Good job by, I think it was Salazar, to strip in midfield. He then carried into the area, had a shot saved initially. Unfortunately, missed clearance fell directly to Kyle Murphy, who really quite well and definitely slotted calmly inside the left post. Really far restrained on the play, not much he could do about it. And with Murphy giving Memphis a 2-0 lead, they were able to hold pretty firmly heading into the break. Wholesale changes after that by head coach Martin Reddy in the second half. The rotation to keep fresh legs, be damned, as Nick Moon, Nicky Law, and Gordon Wild were inserted into the lineup at the halftime break. Almost paid dividends. Wild with a corner kick in the 46th minute that found the head of A.J. Cochran. That sprayed it just wide. Farr came up big just before the hour mark when Mark Segbers, our player to watch in the Indy11.com preview, danced around a couple defenders to get into the area, but Farr did well to go low and poke the shot away. Segbers created more danger a minute later, almost finding Salazar at the far post, but a nice deflection by an 11 defender was able to just disturb the flight pattern enough where Salazar couldn't get on the end of it to bring on a Memphis corner kick. Couple calls for penalties by Indy 11 in the final 20 or so minutes went for naught. Gordon Wild looked to have a claim for one around the 70th minute. The play was continued on. Gershon Kofi had a claim of his own in the final 10 minutes. But, again, contact deemed not worthy enough. Jordan Hamilton went down late in the match as well, but nothing doing. So not necessarily any clear-cut calls for penalties, but definitely the whistles did not go Indy 11's way as the match progressed. Didn't stop, however. The attacking pressure continued into stoppage time. Nick Moon did well to get inside the area and put a lash on the near post, but Burner protected it well about 2 minutes into what was originally 5 minutes of allotted stoppage time. 6 minutes into stoppage time, and 11 broke through on a corner kick, wild service being batted down in the area. We're giving Jordan Hamilton an assist on that. I believe he caught a deflection that kept it around the 6. Carl Wimet, a late game sub, enter the match around 10 minutes or so remaining for Peter Lee Vossel. Carl was in the right place at the right time, got a right footed poke to it, sent it past Burner, and creates just a sliver of hope in the dying minutes of stoppage time to bring the score to 2-1. But that was the last final chance of the match for Indy 11. So Indiana's team, boys in blue, falling 2-1, a surprise result, giving Memphis its first win of the season, their early season, pushing them to 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Indy 11, for the moment, remaining atop the table in the Central Division standings on 10 points, shared with Birmingham Legion FC. And they really are both shared, as each team sitting on a goal differential of +1, thanks to Wimet's strike in the dying minutes. So, all things considered, kind of a rough week for Indy 11. We're 2 ways about it. Points were dropped on Wednesday night in the 1-1 draw with OKC Energy FC. And then really a hard-done night tonight. Again, really the talking point, Josh, is going to be that Arteaga goal that was for now. It'll be interesting to hear Coach Rennie's thoughts on that. But so early on, it changes the reflection of the game if things are not at 1-1. That being said, really hard to not give Memphis 91 FC full credit on the night. They held the better of the attacking play. They held more shots on goal than Indy 11. I think it was surprising to see them come out and really take the match to Indy 11 on the road.
The few things that kind of stuck out to me was definitely control your controllables kind of evening. The fact that the goal was not counted, it's not a controllable. That's what the referees are there for. They're going to make those kind of calls. It's what do you do with that information? You didn't get the goal, so what do you do moving forward to try to go out and get that additional equalizer? Coming off a Wednesday game, I don't know what that had an effect on the heaviness of some legs, but you did see some players that played on Wednesday come back on the pitch for tonight and maybe get some more pace in the midfield. For me, the one thing you control is your performance, right? So you don't want to put this on the referees. I'm going to put it on anybody else, but squarely on Indy 11 in regards to we're the ones that go out there and play the games. We have to go and get the results we need. The positives that come into this, in fact, we are still, have some great points still on the table. We have a little bit of a gap until we play again on Wednesday the 9th. Back in El Paso, Texas. So hope any 11 fans, we don't know if any of you are going. We hope that less than 40 of you are attending. I can tell you that because we will be seeing you in El Paso as well. But I was a reminder the comments are open as well as part of these one-on-ones before we get to Coach and bring him on here in a few minutes as he gets over to TV here in the next few minutes. But I want to read a few comments that have come through at 11 UK. Our friends over the pond, not our night, unfortunately. I would definitely agree with you there. Some people call it an embarrassing effort to watch. I would argue that there was a lot of effort there. I think there's a lot of flip going on the field in terms of energy, putting that energy with new people on the field. You saw the late goal. It wasn't like we ever gave up in the fight. I mean, we clearly knew. We felt we had that goal. If you put things even, but it's a 2-2 night, right? So what do you do in that situation besides go out and play the next game? We have a long season ahead of us. It's a brand new group of guys playing together who, have only been together for – you think about the guys who returned, the Jordans, the Jose's, the Womets, there's a lot of cast of characters here that are brand new playing together. So there might be some more to be seen from this team in terms of gelling, seeing different pieces together. That's what we have to see moving forward. And I'd be curious what Coach Rennie will be doing in El Paso on Wednesday, where we'll see 2 other former foes, and Dylan Mayers and our favorite right back, Macaulay King. So we will see those 2 gentlemen coming up this coming week as well.
Like you mentioned, a lot of new parts in the lineup tonight. Was good, first of all, to see Ioze back into the mix for in the 11, the captain, getting an hour run out this evening. So it's good to see his influence on the match on the left side. I think a lot of the attacking play when he was, especially during the first half, went through the Spanish left side of midfielder. It was interesting to see him move to the back line, or a rare move to the back line for him with the halftime adjustments. But we saw with this being the third game in a week, the middle of 5 games in 14 days for the squad. Again, we expected roster rotation, and we got it. You saw Boubacar Sissoko get the start in the middle of the field along with Gershon Kofi. Ioze was a part of that rotation with Patrick Segrist going back on the left side of midfield for him at the hour mark. We saw Peter Lee Vassell get his first start in a while, playing the first half. Mickey Law came in for him as part of those halftime adjustments. Jordan Hamilton back in, getting a full 90 after he came off the bench on Wednesday night. Delshko Malic getting a second consecutive start on the back line, a back line that again saw its third different set of 3 in 3 games tonight, starting with Cochran, Malic, and Timmer. So again, it was an 11 with a lot of moving parts, but in fairness, Memphis 901 FC was plugging in some parts of their own with influential forward Kaneem Dakirs out with suspension, and then the Trinidad and Tobago international. Sorry, blanking on his name here, but
and if you're going to be mentioning, you have to mention Mitch Guitar as well.
Yep, Dre Fortune out. Mitch Guitar got a start for Memphis tonight, so. Really can't use the crutch of a new look lineup as an excuse. Both teams were kind of plugging in parts. Indy due to just rotation during the busy stretch. Memphis 901 FC through suspension and national team call-up. That being said, N11 had its own national team call-up, and Neville Hackshaw out tonight, and again at least for Wednesday night as he reports to the Trinidad and Tobago national team for a couple World Cup qualifiers. Again, waiting for head coach Martin Rennie. 11 post-game.
Just to check on that, John, as well. We'll see if coaches are going to be made available. We've not seen him make his way over to TV yet, but we still think we owe you guys the opportunity to at least discuss. And again, the comments are always open to see your thoughts on tonight's performance. I will say the things that were really positive this evening. We had a great Indy Pride evening here at Michael A. Carroll Stadium. Great attendance. Definitely see some normalcy back in the fans. The people in the stands are seeing some teams coming back out again. So one of the things that John and I say a lot is from a marketing side is that, the stadium is where you come watch a game, but the people make the experience. And so thanks to all of you who came out tonight. We wish we'd given you 3 points. I definitely think we got some we gave you some excitement, though. I said the late goal and the reaction of the crowd of the Arteaga goal, the goal that was not, definitely brought some energy back to Carroll Stadium, these are all positive steps from a normalcy perspective that we also appreciate. And again, John, I will tell you, last year Lucas Oil, with not having our friends and family in the building, made it very difficult. Great pride display from the BYB early in the game. Really appreciate everyone coming out tonight who was able to make the effort. And we hope to see you again. I said, I know we have a little bit more to get to before Martin makes his way over. No Martin this evening, so we may not have a Martin this evening. So we're not going to make his way over today. He's not going over there, so I don't think. Okay, so no, we're not going to be able to have coach tonight. So that's why I'm glad we were able to take this time to at least talk with all of you here. A few other things here. So many changes in the last 2 games. We'd like to see it go stronger at home and rotate away. Tough call, right? Because the bench is only so deep. And when you think about it, we're still missing a Carl Hallworth. I mean, Hallworth has not even seen to pitch this season yet. Carl was such a linchpin with Ioze and Carl on both sides last year. Still haven't seen that for Indy. So I would say that all hope is never lost with Indy 11. We have a very deep roster with 4 very talented players. We'll see what Coach Rennie and the team can do down in El Paso this coming Wednesday night.
And again, with 16 newcomers coming into the squad over the offseason, along with 6 real contributors to the squad last year and beyond, it is very much a new look in the 11th squad in 2021. I think you're seeing that, it does take time to gel, as Coach Rennie has said. Especially with the turnover you're seeing in a congested part of the schedule like this. This is the most congested part of the schedule in 2021, this early stretch here of 5 games in 14 days. So if it looks a little, I don't want to say, I'll say not cohesive quite yet, I think that is to a certain extent to be expected, because this group has had all of really 45 to 60 days of time with each other. And when you get these heavy leg situations, you're going to have to turn some guys over. You're going to play some lineups that frankly aren't used to playing with each other. I think we saw a little bit of that unfamiliarity tonight, although I'll say, I hate to take away credit from Memphis. I think they came out and really came out on the front foot. I don't think that was what we were necessarily expecting, but a hat tip to Ben Perman, Memphis head coach, putting out what could have been seen either as a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Salazar and Kisiadu really put their stamp on the match early and often. And even with the 2-goal lead, you saw them not sit on the game necessarily. Yes, they defended 10, 11 guys behind the ball at times, but they were not afraid really up until about the 75th, 80th minute to step out and get some numbers forward, keep the game stressed a little bit, and really keep taking the game to Indy 11 when they have their chances. So really game effort by Memphis, getting their first win of the season, and hats off to them. It's always going to hurt more to have a loss at home, and you can bet that's what Coach Rennie is talking to the guys about right now, rather than talking to us. I'm glad he's talking to them rather than talking to all of us. We could get his comments on the match at a later time. But with that, Josh, one more comment from Indy 11 UK. Combination wingbacks of Moon and Segrist is the way to go. They get us playing much higher up. I think they've been the first choice for Rennie to start the season. I think a fully healthy Ioze maybe changes that dynamic. Although with the way Segrist is playing on the left side, it's hard to justify taking Segrist off the field. I think the Inter Miami loanee has been a bright spot for the squad this season. And so, I mean, it's difficult because what can you say about Ioze that hasn't already been said? I mean, the guy's a maestro. The guy can be a game changer with his distribution and his ability to defend. So it's a good problem to have, having two very talented players at would seem to be the same position. Again, it'd be interesting to see what an Ioze on one side and Nick Segrist on the right, or perhaps you move Nick Moon up to the top line, and you're able that moves Nick Moon up to the top line. A very crowded top line as well, with Tiaga and Hamilton, and Smith and Gordon Wild. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can interchange that, but I think once we get to the Pittsburgh game on the 15th, we're really going to see, assuming all health being even.
We got Coach.
Okay, we stand corrected. We've got Coach Rennie, and we'll hand the headset over to Martin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Coach John Kaluter here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, thanks for joining us on a tough evening for the squad. Just let's start first by talking about the first half, and if you're perhaps surprised at the way Memphis came out, really looking to put their stamp on the match attacking wise. Were you surprised by their impetus to get forward at all?
Not really surprised. I think I was more just surprised and shocked at how we started the game, because within 2 minutes we're a goal down, and that's obviously the last thing you want when it's your third game in a week, and it's
very hot, 90 degrees maybe down at the field. To start 2 minutes in and you're a goal down, that's a nightmare, because then you have to chase that and you're already going into a hard situation. So that was very frustrating. We then started to come back into the game and scored a good goal. That was, clearly a goal. We saw the replay. It was obviously over the line. And in a game where you're not doing too well and you're finding it difficult, those things have to go your way. And that was very disappointing that we didn't get that. And I feel, a big mistake and a very clear mistake. And then we lose another goal soon after that. So it's like double blow, so that, you're then going into a game then that there's going to be an energy sapping game. You've had a goal not given, and then you've lost 2. So now it's really hard. Halftime, we tried to turn it around. We made some changes. We went for it as best we could. We got the goal at the end there, and we're still pushing. I honestly think if we'd been given another minute or 2, we could have got another goal, because that was the way it was going. And even then, when after 5 minutes was given, which I didn't think was a lot, given the circumstances, they then rescored. They had an injury for quite a while with Salazar. They had 2 substitutions, and we only had an extra 2 minutes. So that was very, very frustrating, because there should definitely be time for all of those things added on. And when we have that momentum, that could have been enough for us to get another goal. So it's a very frustrating night. We've gone from the high of last Saturday, one of the best results we've had and most fun big wins that we've had, to then a really good first half against OKC, a poor second half coming out with a draw, to tonight, just really a disappointing all-round performance and game from us. So disappointed is really the only way I can look at it.
Don't want to harp on the Arteaga non-goal call too much, but just how does a team recover from the frustration of a situation like that, knowing that the game should be 1-1 for all intents and purposes? Well, did you sense not a letdown, but what did you sense from the squad on the field after that? And do you think any of that perhaps led to the second goal?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to try and react positively and move forward with the game, and I think we tried to do that. But when you do look at it like you're playing your 3rd game in 7 days, only 2-day recovery, and it's 90-degree heat, those little things make a big difference. Normally there's maybe 1 goal in a game like that, and you need to get it. So when you've lost the goal already, and then you get back in the game, or you should have been back in the game, that obviously impacts you. You try not to let it impact you, but it does. And then as we came back into it, we had a couple of decent opportunities to get a penalty kick, and we didn't get that either, which, considering I think the officials knew that it should have been a goal by that point, that was also frustrating and disappointing that even a 50-50 call wasn't given quite our way. So it was just a really frustrating night all around. Things we definitely could do better, things the officials could have done better, and overall, just a poor result for us.
And finally, what was the message at halftime? Obviously, frustration abound, but with 3 changes, did the squad have a pretty positive outlook and heading into the second 45 minutes, thinking that we've got time to change this around?
Yeah, well, we've played Memphis before and been 2-0 down and beaten them 4-2, so we knew that we could do that. We wanted to attack with more width and more energy. And one of the things that is hard in a night like tonight is the energy gets sapped really, really quickly. So we made, the substitutions to try and add more energy and more firepower to the team. But and as I say, it wasn't far off. I honestly feel like tonight we ran out of time, and that was disappointing. But good to see the fight right to the end. Good to see the goal at the end. And ironically, the smoke may have impacted us scoring a second goal, because we couldn't see the ball coming in and it went just wide. So that's the way it goes. But thanks to our fans tonight. Their support's incredible, because tonight they would have felt disappointed with that result. They would have felt disappointed perhaps with the OKC second half, but their support was just unconditional, and they help us so much. So we'll have to put it right for them and make sure we repay them.
Try to carry that momentum from late in the game on to West Texas and El Paso on Wednesday night. Thanks for the time, Martin. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
And with that, we will call it a wrap here on the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. Josh, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. I think we've rambled enough, and we'll call it a night here from Carroll Stadium. Thanks to everyone, again, for tuning in here, for your comments. Reminder, Wednesday night, first ever match against El Paso Locomotive FC, live from West Texas. I believe that is a 9 o'clock kickoff Eastern time. You can catch that live on ESPN Plus. Best $6 a month you'll spend, people. Go now if you do not subscribe to ESPN Plus. Cannot recommend it enough. Catch your boys in blue 31 out of 32 games this season via live streaming video. So, Josh, any parting words?
My last parting words are always the wise words of one Ted Lasso, and that is be a goldfish. This is the one game. Let's get on to El Paso. Let's get the 3 points we deserve down south. Let's give Dylan Mayers and Macaulay a wonderful greeting on behalf of Indy 11 in the form of 3 points for us as we go visit our friends down south. Thank you for tuning in. It's Clue to wrap it up, and I will wrap up myself here.
All right. Good night, everyone. From the mic again. Final score: Memphis 901 FC 2, your Indy 11 1. Indy 11 now sitting at 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw on the year. Still 10 points atop the Central Division standings. So, for Josh Mason, John Kaluder, signing off. We'll talk to you guys Tuesday, June 15th, when Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC comes to the mic for a rare 8 o'clock kickoff. That game is the lone national TV broadcast here at the mic in 2021. So get your tickets now at Indy11.com. Let's try to pack the mic as much as we can. Be on the lookout for more updates about game day atmosphere and perhaps the loosening of more restrictions here at Carroll Stadium. We'll have more updates on that next week leading up to the next home match here in 10 days. So good night from the mic. Take care.